At noon, pot is now for sale legally in Seattle. The first wave of licensed retail stores opened today, greeted by long lines and much anticipation. King 5's Teresa Ewan is live in downtown Seattle, where the city's first store is just about to open any moment now. Teresa?
That's right, and some of the organizers have saying it is almost high noon. Take a listen.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's
And there you guys see it. They are waiting for the doors to open. There's a lot of security here. There's security cameras outside and extra security to deal with this large crowd. This line is snaking all the way around the building here, about 200 plus people here. So just to let you know, again, they've got only about 10 pounds of weed, so there's concern that there's going to be an issue of running out of marijuana. So right now there's a limit of just 2 grams. Again, I want to show you to the front door here. That is Deb Green. She was the first customer. She's been waiting since 3 this morning. Again, just waiting again for the doors to open. Earlier, James, the owner, was out here. He cut, if you will, the ribbon, which was police tape, and said end to prohibition. And this crowd just went wild. I want to show you the media frenzy here. We've got local media, we've got national media here as well. And again, what you're looking at here is the crowd that's been gathering really started to pick up around 10:30 this morning. We counted probably now at this hour at noon when the doors are about to open, probably about 200 plus people. We have obviously a lot of cannabis supporters waiting 18 months since I-502 passed. Almost 18 months ago, November 2012. Again, want to throw you to some interviews earlier of some folks who wanted to be the first in line and beat the crowds. Take a listen.
It's always an important part to be a part of history. You know, I think nobody would have ever thought that this would become legal.
And it's been underground for a long time, you know, bring it on the open, you know. They did it with booze, why not weed?
2 things in my life I thought I'd never have. A black president and legalizing marijuana, and got them both. So this is a great day.
And that is the sense here with this crowd. Euphoria, happiness, the fact that they never thought this day would happen, that pot would be legal. Deb up there, again, first customer waiting to get inside, to get rung up. She was telling me this is a day of freedom. That's how she views today, that pot is being sold legally. People are coming out of the woodworks. There's no stigma attached, that there's no fear that they're going to be arrested by police. Again, we're just waiting, again, moments for this door to open. It was really around 6 o'clock, Mimi, that the first batch came from Bremerton, and everyone was waiting for that, for the stocks to get shelved. And they've been going through inventory. So again, they said noon was when it was going to open. We're still standing by waiting to see when that happens. Again, a lot of security, a lot of anticipation, and of course huge crowds here in the Soto neighborhood on 4th. We'll let you know exactly when the doors do open, but again, we're just standing by to see when that happens. The first customer, Deb Green, getting ready to go inside. Again, this is a cash only business, so a lot of security out here at this moment. But we'll dip back in when we see the doors open here for this historic moment in Seattle. Mimi, back to you.
Teresa, I'm imagining they're only going to be allowing a certain number of people inside the store, right? I can't imagine that the store is that big. And everybody, of course, wants to get in as quickly as they can. But did the owner talk about how many people might be allowed inside at a time?
Yeah, maybe we've been inside of the store. It's not very large at all compared to the earlier reports from Adam Mertz, who was up in Bellingham. I'd say the store is about half the size. There's just 3 cash registers. Again, not a very large store, if you will. It might be a size of someone's living room, if maybe a little bit larger. So there's going to be security. They've been out here in full force, and they have been talking to folks, trying to control the line. Again, that we're hired extra help to deal with the long lines and crowd control, if you will. But everybody's been in good spirits. There's music playing out here. There's food trucks out here. Everyone just sort of high-fiving, happy about this day. And actually here in this line, I just want to point to you, this is Vivian McPeat. He is someone you might remember and seen on our air many times. We've interviewed him. He is the founder of HempFest. So he's about 5th in line right now, ready to get inside. Of course, he wanted to be a part of this big day as well. But again, Mimi, like you were asking, not a very large store, so they're going to file in one at a time. Obviously, you've got to be 21 and older. You've got to have a valid ID, passport can't be expired. You don't have to be a Washingtonian. You can be a Canadian or a tourist as long as you've got that ID. They're not going to do any type of background checks. Owner tells me they're not, saving your name. They just want to make sure that you are an adult and it is legal for you to buy pot. Again, they are going to limit folks to about 2 grams at this point. They were only able to secure about 10 pounds of weed from their supplier. Seeing here, one of the gentlemen that's been sort of guarding the doors, been sort of helping to facilitate here and just waiting. We've been told at noon this was going to happen. The owner has come out. He did, like I mentioned, cut that ribbon, if you will. That ribbon was that police tape you see hanging. And any moment, again, we are hoping to see these doors actually open and folks walk out with their baggie of marijuana. Just to mention, too, there are rules. You are not allowed to smoke marijuana in public. So the owner here saying he doesn't want this to turn into a big block party. He's asking people, when you buy and purchase your marijuana, go home in private and enjoy that marijuana. Again, that is legal now here in our city and state. Mimi?
Well, Teresa, we're 6 minutes past noon right now. The crowd is actually quite patient, even though they said they were going to open their doors at noon. They are patiently waiting. I do see that there is a Subway next door in your live shot.
Yes.
And I heard that they might have some sort of promotion with Subway in regards to the marijuana sales. So tell me about that.
That we have seen the owner out. He is quite the entrepreneur. He was making friends early on and was handing out flyers telling folks they could just call, order in. They didn't have to lose their spot, and that he would just walk it out, their sandwiches and drinks, and we've been seeing him do it all morning long. Not to mention their competitor Jimmy John's was also out here too. Again, folks here just having sort of, it's a really festive atmosphere, I would say. Mimi, back to you.
Well, it's a good idea to capitalize on the growing crowd out there. What's with the green wigs? Is that just a theme? That I see a few people, especially that guy that seems to be maybe the first in line up there, and then a few others in the crowd with the green wigs. Is that something common?
That's Jeremy Cooper, and he is the owner of Magical Butter, and that's using some cannabis products, infused butter, if you will. And he and his team have been pretty out there, if you will, with their wigs, trying to help the folks here at Cannabis City, and just they've been the entertainment, if you will, all morning long. And again, he's standing next to Deb Green. She is the first customer getting ready to purchase her 2 grams of legal marijuana. Mimi?
So has the crowd and everybody seemed pretty calm at this point? You've been there since 4:30 this morning, if not earlier. So you've seen the crowd grow. And it seems like it's a very festive mood out there, really celebratory.
Yeah, absolutely, Mimi. And the crowd really, well, Deb got here yesterday at 3 p.m., but the crowd really started to pick up, I would say, around 10:30. They had all the lines sort of, if you will, in an amusement park. They've got these metal lines to sort of corral everybody, and it really started picking up again around 10:30. Everybody knew the doors were going to open up around noon because they had to deal with getting their inventory in. And it snakes all around this building here in Soto. We've seen Seattle police coming by, just, keeping an eye on things, making sure things have been pretty smooth, and for the most part, like, we've been here since 3 a.m. and they have been rather smooth. Again, everybody in a more celebratory mode. I would say 200 plus at this point. We are hoping to try to talk to some folks too as they come out to see what it feels like to be able to purchase their marijuana again without any type of persecution or any kind of stigma behind that. Still waiting for the doors to open here, but this again is the sense of the line. It is obviously a very, very long line at this point, at this hour. And again, they're going to try to keep this as smooth and in control. That has been the point. Again, this is a cash only. Well, I just got a hand signal there from Jeremy, maybe 2 more minutes. The issue has been the fact that they were hoping to get that inventory early, Mimi. They were hoping to get around 1, and it really didn't come here until 6 o'clock. Some folks saw that live on our newscast in the morning at 6 from Bremerton. So they still had to sort through their inventory. And, this is a great area. This is all new territory here for these different businesses and suppliers and growers. And you know what? I want to bring in someone here now Now, ma'am, I saw you come in earlier, very festive. Tell us why it was important for you to be here today.
I create Nana's Secret Soda. I have been doing this for a year, and I started it because I have epilepsy, and I wanted to create a product for myself for the epilepsy. A year ago when I started, I had tremors in the morning because my medication was not working for me, and I did kind of a test market over the last year. And now when I get up in the morning after using this product for a year, I don't have that problem anymore.
So you've been a big supporter of 502 and obviously important
I started out in medical,
Okay.
and after a year of trying this, my doctor has now given me a method of coming off of those prescription drugs because I don't need them anymore. I've applied for a 502 license, and that license is pending. I have investors that's ready to go with my building. I have a national bottler that's been supporting me this whole year. He has $250,000 worth of bottling equipment to put in my building. So I expect to be in the business in a year, within this year, by the end of the year. And we will produce for medical, we will produce for 502, and we will donate money to children with epilepsy. I love this product. Everyone in Seattle loves this product. We'll sell franchises and we'll take the product across the country.
So you really see this as a huge booming business and growing, and
I see it a good business. I see it a good way to treat people with cancer, epilepsy, MS, and I see it as an educational opportunity because people across the country do not realize that this is a product that should have a warning label that says caution, not stay away from. It's not anywhere near as harmful as prescription drugs. And there's people like myself who need this to be able to function on a regular basis. I've ran businesses my entire life. My husband had a business. I started a label business. And it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
all right. Thank you so much for sharing your time with
Thank you.
us. Oh yeah,
Nana loves you. Nana loves everybody. Everybody loves Nana.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, everyone's sort of crowding over here, Mimi. I'm thinking we're going to see any moment now that these doors will open. Again, supposed to happen at noon. Things, you know, first day of business. There's probably a little bit of kinks. Like I mentioned, not a very large room, but oh, I heard a buzz, some cheering. So hopefully. Oh, here's James. Now, this gentleman that's walking over here right now in the black shirt, this is James Lathrop, and he is the owner of Cannabis City. We talked to him earlier, and you know, this is the fourth business that he's tried to open. He says it's been one of the most challenging because it's, again, all new territory. He actually rented the space in Soto since November, so he has not been making any money on this at all. But obviously very excited that he was the first store to get a license. Here we go.
The first legal marijuana in the state of Washington. Let's hear it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, there's the owner, James, helping to usher in some of the first crop of people maybe that are walking in to get pot legally. Again, they're limiting to just 2 grams per customer because they've only got 10 pounds of weed at this point. And this has been sort of an evolving process. James was telling me it's been a little bit difficult getting in contact with who are growers and suppliers. And now you see security here. This is the extra security that they've hired to make sure that there's a clear path. And again, that there's sort of an orderly fashion here now that folks are able to get marijuana in our city and again our state. And, you know, we're asking about how much they were going to charge, and James had said anywhere between 15, 30. There are huge taxes. He's got to deal with sales tax, also state taxes, and he was saying it was going to amount to something like 31%. So again, a high number there. But again, they've got to compete with medical marijuana, also, unfortunately, street dealers. So they're not trying to price their own marijuana products out, but they know they are in short supply. But he said he was saying on average probably about $15 to $30.
Since we're talking numbers, Teresa, I was just doing a few calculations as you were talking live. If there are 10 pounds of marijuana available, 2 grams per person, that equals out to be about 2,200 people who can purchase marijuana. Did the business owner talk about you know, whether or not he would sell out in the first day. What happens tomorrow?
Gosh, yeah.
What happens tomorrow?
He was very concerned. I mean, he's like, oh, this is definitely going to sell out. And they just have to keep in touch with their suppliers. I mean, as you know, when this all happened, this is all brand new to the Liquor Control Board. It was 18 months. We saw people having to apply for licenses. And also the grow. I mean, there is a plant cycle from seed to grow to processing, and this also has to go through labs to make sure the THC levels are appropriate. So again, you saw their doors opening, first couple of people getting ready to walk inside, and of course maybe we'll be out here talking to people who've been the first ones to purchase marijuana. Let's send it back to you.
All right, Teresa Ewan, thank you very much. So you saw it here live. History being made in Seattle as the first pot shop opens in the city.